Hi, I'm Dina Loomis, and today I just believe that people need a reminder on something so relevant to everyone, and yet very few people observe it. You want to know what it is?
Of course, I'd like to know. This is Doc Che, and I'll be discussing that with Miss Dina Loomis.
Yes.
Yes, so what's our topic for this episode?
The topic is about frugality
Okay.
and the ability to only spend what you earn and save a little besides. I just noticed something, Che.
Yes.
A lot of people, even very successful businessmen, seem to spend more than they're actually earning. In fact, I have heard of a lot of cases of businessmen making huge loans because they believe, oh, I'm going to earn it anyway. And then they end up spending more than they earn. And eventually, they go bankrupt. And sometimes they have to give up everything that they have worked so hard for only because they spend more than they earn. And I'm not even talking about having vices. It's just the loss of control. They just cannot help themselves. I have one particular example in mind.
Okay.
A Filipina businesswoman who earns a lot of money because she's a hard worker and she deals with garments. But many times she actually had to cut her credit cards because what happens is she would spend and spend, and when the bills come in, she's horrified because she finds out she cannot pay for them. And I thought she's learned her lesson all these years, but no. Until now, as of the last count, she again came to me asking if she can borrow money.
That's the problem,
and she's already borrowed from me for so many times in the past. And there were several times, in fact, most of the time, I just have to write them off because she keeps on promising she'll pay, but she could not pay.
Oh, okay.
So I've learned my lessons, so I'm no longer giving in to giving her loans.
Yeah. Well, there are two things that I remember about what you just said. The first is like a relative of mine, a very close relative, first time in the United States, suddenly discovers credit cards. Where you can actually spend much more than you actually earn. And by the time you realize it, you can't even pay the interest on your credit card anymore because you're still earning only enough to get by, but that credit card allows you to earn more than what you're spend more than what you're earning, such that you're not able to pay for it. And the other is, insofar as paying is concerned, a lot of people, of course, think that you're making a lot of money, and especially if you look successful, and maybe you are, they can approach you. But then again, the solution I have formulated, because I know a lot of people also owe me money, but you just have to write it off, especially your relatives. As they said, you can choose your relatives. So when it comes to giving someone a loan, what I really espouse as a formula for everybody is, if you want to help somebody, give them a loan in the amount that you can afford not to expect to be paid. So at least they might not have gotten the exact amount that they needed, but you still gave them something that you could afford to write off. That's my personal formula.
And there's something else. Remember the first segment we had, I mentioned that there was something about the culture of America that I admire, and that is the way they respect people working for them, right? And yet, in the case of fiscal deficits, would you believe it? We're better than them. We don't have the huge deficits
Yeah.
that they have.
Deficit spending is a
Yeah.
way of life in
It's-
U.S. politics. Yeah.
Can you believe it that they owe China trillions of dollars?
Yes, I think about 16 trillion.
The deficit is huge.
Yes.
And they just kept on spending like to kingdom come.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, one thing that I admire in Filipinos, now I'm taking, I take credit for the,
US for
contrasting
us,
now, because this is where we excel, Filipinos, because we don't have the welfare system in America.
Yeah.
As a result, I can see Filipinos really working hard to get by, even just to get by. They really work hard, and many of our sister Filipinos go abroad and they send money back home to help their families, and they even keep our economy afloat. But a lot of the Americans, for generation after generation, got so used to the welfare system that I've spoken with many of them in America, and I asked them if they're working, and they said, why should I work? I get paid without working. And you know what? Our welfare gives me more than if I were working, so why should I work? So in other words, the welfare system in America has also created some kind of mendicants, the dependency, and a sense of entitlement. So they have a lot to learn from the Filipino way of life, where if you don't work, you don't earn, and nobody feeds you. Of course, we do have our what we call our expanded family system, where if a relative has no job, he can always come running to us for emergencies and etc. And yet, in that manner, in this particular item now about frugality, in many ways, Filipinos are, and even I believe Chinese, Taiwanese, Koreans are so much better than Americans or some of the Western people that I know, is because they get so used to the welfare system and then they live on credit cards. Of course, that now they're suffering, Europe and America. Both of them. Both parts of the world, while Asia is now booming, is thriving. So praise God that we have not learned to be dependent on the government. I'm so glad. I'm so happy for that.
Well, that's cool. Well, stay tuned for our next episode. You can log on to our website and on YouTube. And this is Doc Lejano. We'll see you in our next episode. Miss Dina?
Yes, indeed. Just a reminder, we will spend only what we can earn after putting aside something for savings. That way, we have a much better future. So goodbye for now.